Junior featherweight Israel Vasquez is a talented young boxer with enormous potential. He's been compared to greats like Julio Cesar Chavez and Roberto Duran. And many who followed the career of this exciting fighter believe that we are watching a champion in the making.
He was born on Christmas Day and has been called one of the two most promising young fighters from Mexico to debut in the United States last year. And with his aggressive style and explosive punching power, junior featherweight Israel Vasquez may indeed be Mexico's latest gift to professional boxing. Many feel he has the talent to become one of the best boxers of his generation. Vasquez believes he was destined to be a fighter.
You need lots of heart and lots of guts. With the heart, you get the desire to be somebody in the sport. The guts come as the fight progresses once you are facing your opponent and trading punches in the ring. Those are two attributes that you can't really learn. You have to be born with them. It is my mentality. The goal of a championship is always in my mind. I am trying my best to get there, and I feel that I will get there eventually, regardless of other people's opinions, for or against.
Strong and totally fearless in the ring, Vasquez seems always on the attack.
I don't go out looking for the knockout, but I pressure my opponent, and by pressuring him, I create the opportunity to land good punches and eventually create the opportunity for the knockout.
And although his aggressiveness may sometimes appear reckless, Vasquez maintains his approach is actually a carefully calculated one.
Yes, I consider myself a thinking fighter, although you may not see that once I'm in the ring. I consider myself a fighter that sees the way a fight is progressing, and though it seems that I lack defense, I am positioning myself towards landing the best punches and winning the fight.
Tonight he fights for what he hopes to be merely the first championship title of his professional boxing career. And Vasquez is certain he knows exactly what it will take to accomplish his admittedly lofty goal.
Everything. You have to give it everything you have. You have to give the best of yourself. You have to give it your all. And by your performance in the ring, ensure that people go home satisfied after each fight. Or if they stay at home, enjoy them on TV. And that's what I plan to do. I plan to give every single drop of sweat towards that goal.
And there is the young man we've been talking about, Israel Vasquez, who's making his way now out of the dressing room and into the ring. Vasquez is a 20-year-old. Career knockouts 10 inside the first 3 rounds. He has put away 16 of the people he's fought in 21 fights.
That really hasn't been the case in his recent fights, though, Tom. Only one of his last 7 fights have ended within 3 rounds. So as he's fighting better fighters, he's having to extend his fights a little bit. But nonetheless, he's still getting most of them out inside the distance. That's the important thing. This kid is really developing.
And he faces a young man tonight who is almost the same mixture of fighter-boxer, a guy who characterizes himself as a brawler, if you will, Marcos Licona. He's a guy that doesn't know about a reverse gear, and neither does Vasquez. And I would think, Fernando, these two guys are going to be after each other like a couple of wild bulls.
It should be a work, with the exception that Marcos doesn't have the firepower that his opponent has.
Well, we'll see about that. Gutierrez is standing by. Vasquez, of course, had a record unbelievable as an amateur. 58-0 in every victory by way of knockout. Ring announcer Jake Gutierrez is standing by to introduce the participants. Let's go to the ring. Jake?
And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to those of you watching across the Southland, as we welcome you to the fabulous Tropicana Resort and Casino here in exciting Las Vegas, Nevada, where tonight, Forum Boxing, in association with the undisputed King of Beers, Budweiser, are proud to present Fight Night on KCAL. Tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem. Let's head right into our first bout this evening. It is a co-main event, and it's scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant NABO Junior Featherweight Championship. At ringside, the NABO Executive Director, Mark Reels. Introducing the judges at ringside, Chuck Giampa, Al Siciliano, and Lou Tabbitt. And your referee in charge of this bout is Mitch Halpern. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner on my left. He wears the blue trunks trimmed with white. He comes to us from Mexico City, Mexico. He weighed in at 122 pounds. His record as a professional, 12 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw, 3 wins by knockout. Introducing Marcos Licona. And his opponent across the ring, he's fighting out of the blue corner on my right. He wears the white trunks trimmed with gold. He too is from Mexico City, Mexico. He weighed in at 121 pounds. His record a very fine 20 wins, 1 defeat, 16 wins by knockout. Introducing Israel Vasquez.
All right, let's keep this clean. Touch gloves. Good luck.
All right, tail of the tape for this NABO Junior Featherweight title. Vasquez is 21, Licona 3 years older. He's an inch shorter, he's a pound heavier, and he has 1 less inch in the reach department. Vasquez has a reach of 67 inches. 3 knockdown rule not in effect. There's no standing 8 count. Can't be saved by the bell in any round. Doctor or referee can stop the fight. If there's an accidental foul, so duly noted, they'll go to the scorecards after 4 rounds. Mitch Halpern ready to go. The fighters are set. There's the bell. It's scheduled for 12. And out they come for round 1. Licona in the blue and white. In the white with gold, that's Israel Vasquez.
Vasquez usually starts out boxing, Tom, but it doesn't take long before it becomes a very much an action fight. He tries to work a boxing style into his offense, but he is offensive minded, and he goes to his opponent and he tries to basically wear him down with a variety of punches. He really works the angles well, and he just has a variety of punches that you don't see, and a difference in his arsenal than you see from kids who are as young and inexperienced as he is.
Vasquez had at least 2 other guys that he was scheduled to fight, and then the opponents fell out because of injuries and training, etc. Licona, Fernando, was getting ready for a fight of his own up in Fresno that way when they contacted him, wasn't he?
Well, he has a very brief career, but he feels confident that he can give Vasquez a good fight, and he's going for it.
And, you know, because it was such short notice, Tom, he said the only reason that he would have taken the fight, under normal circumstances, he wouldn't take a fight on this short a notice, which was a 4 days notice. But he said, you know, since it was a title fight and a chance to win a belt, I'm going to go do it.
Why not? These 2 guys are having a kind of a quiet first round for these 2. I'm sure it's going to heat up in a bit because they both are brawlers by nature, and they love an all-out war. And now they begin to pick it up in tempo. And the crowd here at the Tropicana respond.
I think they're in for a treat because Vasquez feels that if this is the kind of fight that it turns out to be, it was all for his advantage.
Vasquez looks to me like he's reddening in the eye, Tom.
Yes, I thought so
left
myself.
eye.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's cut there or if he's just reddened, but he's been hit some good, crisp shots by Marcos Licona so far.
In fact, Vasquez's face does show is very red, and up around the left eye area, as you note, Rich, it is beginning to become pretty evident. Well, Vasquez's people will tell you, quite frankly, Frank Espinosa and company, that their biggest concern for the young man is to work on his defense, because there's nothing wrong with his heart or his courage, and he just, as we saw earlier, Rich, will walk right through an opponent if given a chance. But defense is a very important part of this game as well.
And sometimes when you become very offensive minded, Tom, and as you keep going in fights and you're knocking guys out, your defense can become a little bit lax. And perhaps that might be what's happening with Israel if they do have a concern about it.
Round 1, it's scheduled for 12. NABO junior featherweight title at stake. Seconds ticking away in round one. Going into the books. For a good round. See how my ringside experts have scored this one as we close down to a handful of seconds. Round one is over. We'll be back with more after this. The bell brings him out for round two. Licona was up and awaiting the bell, and Vasquez was sitting on a stool, pensively looking across the ring. Fernando, did you eavesdrop? What was going on?
Yeah, over in Licona's corner, Jimmy Montoya told us, try to look for your distance. Fight him at your distance.
Licona's record, which we already talked about, obviously very good. A couple of names you might have heard of in that. Certainly the most obvious would be Carlos Navarro, and that was the only loss of the career of Licona. Navarro has acquired a minor championship now and is considered to be a very good prospect, Carlos Navarro. And it was a 10-round fight, a good fight that Licona was in all the way, and that's been his only defeat so far.
These two guys are going to have to be fearful and watchful of a headbutt. They came together a moment ago and touched gloves in response, as good fighters will do, and both kind of winced a little bit. Vasquez is in the white and Licona in the blue, trimmed in white. Not many body punches here, guys.
No, but Vasquez is beginning to land with a straight right hand that is going right through the upraised gloves of Licona. It's landed it twice so far in this round. He's getting it there quickly.
And Licona's got a mouse under that left eye that's pretty good size and growing.
He also has Vasquez a sneaky uppercut that he lands, and when he does, that's what gets the other boxers in trouble.
And of course, Licona's come back, as you saw a moment ago, and landed a couple of right-hand leads. Both men here in the second round. Good short right hand to the point of the chin thrown by Vasquez. Both men feeling the effect of the other's blows. Make no mistake about it.
Vasquez's eye is swelling now too, Tom. We talked about the reddening on the eyelid in the first, of the eyebrow in the first round, and there's some swelling there now too.
And speaking to Vasquez, he said that his main attribute was the fact that he can go 3 minutes a round, and that he starts picking it up after the third round. So we'll see if at the third round he does pick it up.
Both of these guys are going to have some work for the cornermen to do. Licona's got a real major mouse coming up under his eye. Lands a left-right combination. Drives Vasquez back, and Vasquez, pulling out his trunks, seems to be more than a bit bothered as Licona applies the pressure and backs him up. And now Vasquez comes back to answer in kind.
I think he was complaining that it was a low punch.
Mitch Halpern, the third man in the ring, has not had much to do in this one so far. Been a very quick, nice right hand by Vasquez. Very quick second round with a lot of action, and the crowd beginning to warm to it here at the Tropicana Resort and Casino on the famous Strip in Las Vegas. Scheduled for 12. Round two coming to a close. And we'll be back to see about round three after we see about this.
Licona landed some good punches in round two, but not all of them were legal. Check out that low blow, a hard right to the body. Now you really know why Vasquez was so bothered by it.
Round number three scheduled for 12 for the NABO vacant junior featherweight title. Vasquez in white, Licona in blue, and Mitch Halpern, the third man in the ring. Tom Kelly, Rich Marotta, Fernando Paramo. What was the conversation like in the corners, Fernando?
They were asking them to feint and also go side to side. Don't just stand there straight up. So
Vasquez's people were asking him to do that.
But I think that he's going to be, or he will start pressuring from this point on.
Fernando, talking to Vasquez this week, I thought he said something very interesting. I asked him about the difference between fighting in Mexico, where most of his early fights were, and fighting here in the United States. And he said that he thought that fighting here, it's much more of a technical situation, and down there it's more toe-to-toe in Mexico. Would you agree with that?
I will agree with that. I think that there's much better technicians, people that move, that give you angles, go side to side.
Good left hand by Vasquez, and he caught one in return. And again, they were just seconds away from a headbutt. Both men cognizant of the other, and both men leaning in as they are there literally forehead to forehead.
This is the toughest fight we've seen Israel Vasquez in since he's come to the United States.
Yeah.
And he's going to answer some questions that at some point in a young fighter's career, he's got to answer questions. And believe me, his opponent here tonight, Licona, is asking him.
Yes, he's not backing up a bit. In fact, he's for the most part, forcing the action. Yes, Fernando?
I think he also realizes that Licona has never been down. So
Never been done.
He knows he has a good chin and that he's going to go test Vasquez.
Well, I'm sure that, while it is not a secret, is an item that sits in the back of the mind of the other guy you're fighting. No matter what I hit this guy with, he's never gone down. I'm going to have to find something to really nail this cat with, and so far it has been forehead to forehead. Licona giving as good as he gets. Well, there's real mouse coming under Licona's left eye.
But you would have to think that Vasquez has the upper hand with a much more power.
They're beginning to work to the body a bit more than they have in the previous first 2 rounds.
And Licona is now starting to breathe through the mouth.
I think some of those body punches are really beginning to take their toll on Licona. It looked to me like he took a big deep breath after that last shot that he took to the body.
And nailed Vasquez with the right hand, though he was backing up. Lands a pretty good left, in fact, a combination of his own. As we come to the end of round number 3, scheduled for 12. Back with more after this. Bell brings him out for round number 4. Jimmy Montoya was quite vocal in Licona's corner, Fernando.
He was emphasizing the fact that he's staying within reach of Vasquez. Says hit, punch, and move. They were asking Vasquez to not only just throw one punch, but throw a series of punches.
Let's check the scorecard of my ringside experts. Vasquez on Rich Morata's scorecard, up by a point over Licona. Fernando Paramo has it dead even, Vasquez and Licona.
I had an even round in the first one. Gave the second to Licona, the third to Vasquez.
I thought we weren't going to allow any more of those even rounds here with
Oh,
broadcast
I don't
crew.
know. I didn't know that there was some rules set down here. I mean,
They tied the Holyfield fight.
Well,
Why
yeah.
didn't we get a tie?
Ever since the Lewis Holyfield fight, I've been setting down my own rules for our scoring here.
well,
And by the way, I'm very happy to announce that Ms. Eugenia Williams will not be scoring any of the fights here tonight.
well, if you don't believe in even rounds, maybe she'll be sitting there where you are doing some scoring. Good uppercut by Vasquez, and he gets hit with another one coming back from Licona.
Vasquez is already looking ahead to hopefully world championship fights in the future, Tom, and he kind of was talking about the different world champions this week and said that he thought of all the world champions in his weight division, and of course it's a tremendously talented weight division, the 122-pound class, that he thought his style would best work against Nestor Garza right now, that he would stand in best stead against Nestor Garza.
Yeah, in fact, when I talked with Frank Espinoza, the guy who handles his career, I said, who else? He said, well, Agapito Sanchez. Yeah, I said, Jesus Salud. He said, no, we will wait a little bit on that.
Well, he's still an old fighter, but he's a great puncher, takes a punch, and you don't want to mess around with him.
We may be getting ahead of ourselves thinking about Vasquez as a future world champion. He's in a very tough contest tonight against Marcos Licona.
I think this was expected. I think this was expected to be a war of attrition, which will eventually be.
Licona keeps moving in. Vasquez meets him on the move in, lands a couple, then backs up, takes a couple. Mitch Halpern, the third man in the ring.
Yeah, and Licona's having some success to the body in this round now.
Neither man's been down. Licona's never been down in his boxing career. Did not have a great amateur record. In fact, a very minor one. 6 wins, 4 losses. Compared to Vasquez, who won 58 amateur fights and knocked everybody out.
Yeah, you know, I saw that record, Tom. I had to ask Vasquez this week if that was real. Is that a real record, or is that somebody's PR dream? And he said, no, that's it. 58 no, 58 KOs.
Boy. Round 4 coming to a close. It's scheduled for 12. We're back after this.
Watch the quick right cross by Israel Vasquez. Key punch for him tonight so far. We talked about it earlier in round 2 that it was landing with success, and it showed up again in round 4.
And not a bad left hand that followed it. Licona dropped his head just a bit, kept it from hitting him flush in the face, caught him on the side, the right side, but a very nice combination by Vasquez. Here we are in round number 5. Anything new out of the corners, Fernando?
They told Vasquez to work strictly with the left hand, and if he gets the chance to use the right, but just told him to use the hook, use the jab, and just practically use only the left hand right hand.
We're in the 5th round of a scheduled 12-round title bout. The NABO Junior welterweight crown on the line, 122 pounds. The title is vacant.
Well, I don't know what the reason for that would be, but he's listening to their orders. He hasn't thrown a right yet in this round. It's been all lefts. There's the first right of the round by Vasquez, unless his right hand is hurt a little bit.
No, I don't think it's hurt. I think it's just a tactical maneuver in their part.
No, there was no indication, no conversation at all about the possibility of an injured hand. So corner people have done nice work. Both Vasquez on the left eye and the left eye of Licona were items of concern early on in this fight, but they have kept the swelling down, and neither man seems to be bothered by anything other than the blows the other guy's throwing on him. Licona seems to be just a step slower this round for some reason or other.
I think round 4 was pretty much the beginning of the end for Licona. I don't think he has now the firepower to stop him. I think he's taking more punch. Now Vasquez is really finding the angles to land his punches.
And you know, Vasquez says that, you know, the thing that really helps him get knockouts, Tom, is the consistency of the rate, the tempo that he fights. It's consistent throughout. First, second, third, fourth, 8th, 10th, 12th. He can still fight the same way. And that's pretty true. He's still fighting at the same rate that he was in round 1.
Licona's got a smear of blood coming from his nose.
There's been a couple of headbutts. I don't know if that was a punch, which has been many there, or a headbutt.
Well, they have banged foreheads a couple of times. Nothing severe enough to cause a major problem for either man. But Licona just a step slow trying to get a punch off here in this round. And Vasquez is having much the better of it here in round number 5, or so it would appear.
Well, I'll tell you one thing he's doing is using that ring. Man, a lot of side-to-side movement, a lot of lateral movement from Vasquez, not coming straight forward. He's using all 20 feet of that ring tonight. And he's using it well. Actually, he's fighting a brilliant round here.
Licona trying to nail him with the right hand here as the round is coming to a close. Vasquez comes back with a nice combination, and round 5 finishes in a flurry. Out they come for round number 6. It seemed to me, Fernando Paramo, there was some concern in the corner of Licona, was there?
They're just telling them to go ahead and try to give him a little bit of a pep rally. Just go ahead and come on, give it, give it something.
They were working on his nose, which was bleeding in round number 5. Through the first 5 rounds, these are the scorecards. Rich Morata has Vasquez up by 3 points, 49-46. Fernando Paramo has it 49-47, Vasquez.
I think now Vasquez pretty much is controlling the action. And it's just a matter now how much punishment can Licona take.
Well, he's fighting a different kind of fight, Vasquez. He's just peppering his opponent here tonight, Tom. He's using that jab a lot. Look at that side-to-side movement, moving his head up there, using the ring, jabbing, hooking to the body. We told you he had a big variety of punches in his arsenal, and you're beginning to see them all tonight. And plus, we're seeing the movement and boxing ability of Israel Vasquez.
And now he's boxing the boxer.
Yeah. Vasquez, in case you've just joined us, is in the white trunks with the gold stripe. Licona, Licona, is in the blue, trimmed in white. Nice left hand by Vasquez.
And I think that as the fight is progressing, the speed seems to be different because of the nature of the fighter that he is. He will keep on throwing lots of punches at the same speed.
And blood continues to come again now from the nose of Licona.
Look at Vasquez just giving him all these looks, pivoting side to side. He even went left-handed for a few moments and peppered Licona with 3 quick right jabs.
Look at it.
Third man in the ring is Mitch Halpern. There's a punch low thrown by Licona.
Go.
Guy's a terrific referee, Mitch Halpern. Really developed into one of the very best in the world, I think, at this point.
Blood really flowing now from the nose of Licona. We're in round number 6, scheduled for 12.
Look at this boxing by Vasquez.
Yes.
Very impressive, Tom.
Yep.
Really fighting a tactical fight now. And he's showing he can do that. I mean, we're really seeing him adjust and showing some different skills here tonight.
And this is what he was saying, that he was willing to take some punches if he believes that he can land the harder punches, which is what he's doing in most cases.
Yes, he suddenly, back a couple of rounds ago, decided to take charge of this fight. And gives you the impression that he's very much in charge as round number 6 is coming to a close. We'll be back. The bell rings and out they come for round number 7. Vasquez in white, Licona in blue.
You know, Licona's corner looks like a pit stop. Everybody jumping in there, somebody trying to fix one eye, somebody trying to fix the other, the mouth, the nose.
That's a good call, a pit stop, yeah. You can see that Vasquez, going past 6 rounds, is 5-0, undefeated. 4 of those victories have come by way of knockout. Licona's 1-1 in fights that have gone past the 6th round, and here we are in the 7th.
Watch what says. You okay? Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Go.
Again, very close to a major headbutt. It was a headbutt, but no blood drawn, and Mitch Halpern very cognizant of how close these guys have come to one of those.
I'm afraid Marcos is beginning to bust up pretty bad. He doesn't look like the same kid who came into the ring. His face, it's taking on gargoyle type aspects at this point.
It's becoming a bit of a mask with a lot of blood involved, and that's coming from his nose.
Get up in there.
Boy, I tell you, they teed off on each other there. Vasquez got away with the best of it. Lands a solid right hand and backs Marcos up with another one. Licona's never been down.
I think Vasquez could be doing a little bit more work to the body. Not that you want to see Licona get hit anymore, but I just strategically.
Vasquez looked right after the first round as though his left eye was going to be a major concern, item of concern, but his people have done nice work in the corner, and that is not the case.
I think the fact also that he's fair-skinned looks like he's been, he's a lot more red than he is. Does that make sense?
I tell you, there's no quit. There's no quit in Licona. I'll say that for him. He keeps coming on.
But Vasquez doesn't seem to lose his concentration, Tom, and he doesn't let Licona get started too much. He might get clipped here and there.
He's also looking now for the heavier punches.
Licona's left eye is becoming a mess. And, of course, bleeding from the nose, got nailed with a solid uppercut with the left hand.
Well, Fernando referred earlier to the right uppercut that is so effective from Israel Vasquez. We saw him take Oscar Garcia just apart with it. But he showed us that left uppercut, which looks like it's a heck of a weapon, too.
I tell you, these two guys are wailing away at each other. Got to give them all the credit in the world. Round 7 is in the books. Out they come for the 8th round. I tell you, sometimes between rounds in the corner, it's tougher than the 3 minutes these guys put in the ring. Chato, the trainer for Vasquez, just gave him a slap up the side of the face. You could hear it halfway around the building.
They told him, he says, you are already the champ. Just don't get carelessness.
Man, they just slapped him flat. And Vasquez just looked at him, didn't say a word, just bingo. The bell sounds, and out they come.
I guess you're not going to go to sleep when you're getting slapped in the face.
If you look at the 2 men in the ring, facially, Vasquez has the look of a guy who is winning the fight. Licona has the look of a man with maybe an air of desperation, but great heart and great courage. He has not backed down a bit. His left eye is slowly but surely a big swell underneath it. Lands a solid right hand. And, of course, his nose has been bleeding profusely.
Well, I'll tell you, Licona's a pretty good fighter. We're seeing that his record here tonight is no fluke, Tom. He's giving Vasquez the toughest fight we've seen Vasquez get. And it's easy to see now how he went 10 rounds the full distance and losing a close fight to Carlos Navarro, the only defeat in his 14 bouts.
Yes. And, of course, he's never been down.
He's a real gamer. But Vasquez is just so talented. Quick left-handed stance, back to right-handed.
And this is the kind of fight that would really help a fighter like Vasquez. He needs the rounds, he needs the experience.
But I think Rich alluded to the fact that out of all the knockouts he's posted and how early they came in recent fights as he moves up the ladder of competition. Why the guys are tougher and tougher, harder to knock out, harder to put away. And of course that goes with the territory. When you get up there in that upper echelon of people in your division, you'd best be prepared. Pretty good shots landed by Licona, and he backs Vasquez up, and the crowd, sensing that they sound to me like they think Licona's an underdog and they're pulling for him. They vocally were rallying with him.
Well, that first right hand actually drove Vasquez back a couple of feet, and it's got him going backwards now. And Licona, quite obviously, is encouraged here.
But this is a tough customer, this Marcos Licona.
And now his right eye is puffing up very badly as well.
Vasquez said that what he was going to try to do is, if he ever got hit like now, that he will go back so that he doesn't not to get hit again.
Nice exchange. Again, the nose of Licona begins to bleed. Round 8, just a handful of seconds remaining. Stay tuned, because we've got Ed the Hammer Mahone all set to defend his NABO heavyweight title in against a guy by the name of Steve Pennell. Now there's Ed, who's become more than just a heavyweight champion. He's kind of the poet laureate of boxing. Working out, breaking a sweat in his dressing room. He and Fernando were exchanging poems prior to the start of tonight's get-together.
I'd rather exchange poems than punches.
And the man he's in against tonight is a guy out of Roanoke, Virginia. This is Steve Pennell. His people say this guy's got the best left hand, the best jab you'll see in the heavyweight division. He's also knocked out 27 guys while winning 33 fights. That is still to come. That'll be the NABO heavyweight scrap coming up in the card a bit later.
I think he almost knocked out the cameraman.
You can see the face of Licona and the intense attitude of Vasquez as he sits between rounds on the stool, kind of bent forward, looking, peering almost across the ring at his opponent.
I tell you, Pennell looked pretty good just from that little clip.
Yeah, yes he did. Got quick hands. They say you've never seen a left hand like this kid has got, and he, in giving some conversation to his pre-fight strategy, said, you know, Mahone gets everybody on the ropes and just belabors them. Well, he said that fight, meaning the one with Mahone tonight, is going to be fought in the middle of the ring.
Just like this one.
Yep, he said I said, what happens if I see you against the ropes? He said, look quickly, because you'll see me spin away. He said, I won't be there long. You've got to admire the courage of this Licona gentleman. I tell you, he's a gamer. As you said, he's a tough fighter.
I thought he had a pretty good round in round number 8.
I did. I gave it to him.
I gave it to him too.
Crisp punches.
In fact, I don't mind telling you, I gave him 7 and 8.
We don't mind.
Okay. Boy, his nose is a troublesome thing, and now both eyes. Big, solid right hand he landed, flush in the face of Vasquez, who takes it, steps away, and now comes back with some solid shots of his own. Swings to the southpaw style.
You know, it's difficult for a fighter like Vasquez or anybody to be in this kind of a war every single time.
I tell you, Licona's not giving an inch, guys.
But neither is Vasquez.
No. This is, as we anticipated, a real war. Great shots in close. Good uppercuts. Good work to the body by both guys.
Watch the head. You okay? Catch the head. Come on.
Well, they both have the same style, so that I don't think they can avoid getting hit like that with a hit.
It's, I think, unusual that they haven't had a severe cut resulting from headbutts, because they have banged foreheads a half a dozen times in this one.
Only because both of them really lower the head when they go in.
Oh! Right hand by Licona, and Vasquez is down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Vasquez is up at 8.
We may see what he's made of right now, Tom.
Boy, Licona and Vasquez, what a shocker. Licona knocks him down, and now Licona's throwing all kinds of leather at him, and Vasquez calling on his boxing skills to stay away.
He's getting underneath a lot of those punches, Tom. He ducked under those punches. He knows he's in trouble.
Big trouble. Boy, like a brick coming out of a dark alley, that right hand by Licona put Vasquez down, and does the crowd love it now?
And you know, when he went down and then stayed there until the count of 8, he says that's what he's learned in his first fight. On the only loss that he's had, not to just get up, but to wait until the count is done, then get up.
I tell you, watch this again. What a shocker this was.
It's a real knockdown. Right hand buckles the knees of Vasquez, and he can't stay on his feet. Now, before that, I had noticed that Vasquez basically had stopped moving. He had stopped the lateral movement. He was standing in front of Licona, and it really cost him.
They're telling him to be careful of the right hand. Box him. Don't pull back, go into the punch.
But I tell you, Fernando, it seems everybody's talking in that corner now, aren't they?
Now the pit
yeah. The pit crew has moved to the other side. Out they come for the 10th round. It is scheduled for 12.
Oh. Go.
Now it's a fight.
Well, we'll see if Licona, whose face continues to show the effects of a solid 9 rounds of heavy fighting, can pick up where he left off with Vasquez in round number 9.
Vasquez had stopped using the ring the way that he was earlier. He may try to do that again now in this round, go back to that. And he was basically exchanging, and it was right when Fernando was talking about Vasquez getting involved in a war again.
We'll check the scorecards here at ringside, see what kind of an effect that knockdown had. Vasquez 86, Licona 84 on Rich Murata's card. Vasquez 86, Licona 85 on that of Fernando Paramo. Had to be a 10-8 round.
It was.
Was on my card as well. And in addition to that, I've given Licona that round, of course, and the 2 preceding it. I've given him the last 3. Does it look as though Licona is trying to press the advantage he gained in that round? It's a pretty quiet round considering he had his man down.
I think he got a second win, and he was using it the last round.
Nice right hand again by Licona. Came back with a pretty good left to the body.
It was just about the same punch, Tom, that knocked him down. And again, Vasquez was shaken by it.
Get a right hand, a good left to the body. Licona picking up the action here in this, the 10th round. Vasquez doesn't seem to have the same zing and snap to his punches.
Let go, come on.
He found another guy that also can go the distance full speed.
And can hit a little bit too.
It doesn't seem in his record, 4 knockouts in 14 fights. You wouldn't think so.
No.
I think Vasquez would think so now.
Well, no matter who wins it, I'm sure they'll go out of the gym tonight or out of the ring with great respect for each other. This has not been an easy fight for either man, boy, I'll tell you.
Great sportsmanship in both sides.
Yes, they have shown that repeatedly in this fight.
Watch your heads.
This could be a very critical round in the scoring as the judges see this one. It's extremely close. Both fighters have had their moments, but nothing real significant by either guy.
10 seconds left here in round number 10. It is scheduled for 12 for the vacant NABO junior featherweight title. Licona very busy. We'll be back after this. And the bell, and out they come for round number 11. And concern in both camps. What was Jimmy Montoya talking about?
He was very specific. He says, just throw 2 jabs, wait for him to come in. He will come into the punch, then throw the right hand.
And how about in Vasquez's corner, Fernando?
They were telling him to box and be careful.
You know, I thought Vasquez had a very discouraged look on his face between rounds. In fact, he looked like he was just almost pleading with his handlers there about something, and he looked much the worse for wear, just in his expression.
Yes. Yeah, he's had a look of concern sitting on the stool and gazing down at his hands and pensively over at Licona throughout most of this fight. But up until 3 or 4 rounds ago, he was pretty much in charge. Now, I think this issue is very much in doubt, gentlemen.
Especially in a fight like this, where you have the crowd pull it in for Licona, that might influence the judges a bit.
Well, they're only human. And the crowd has taken Licona as their champion.
Well, it would be a sizable upset if he pulls this up.
It truly would. Yeah, Vasquez
Watch the heads.
just had that can't miss label. Not to say that he still doesn't have it. But Vasquez, a prohibitive favorite coming into this one tonight.
And if anybody told you that one of the fighters would go down,
you wouldn't think it would be Vasquez.
You bet the house that it would have been
Licona. Yeah.
They're yelling out of the corner of Vasquez to go side to side.
But it has been a grueling fight. Nice right hand by Vasquez. It has been a tough fight for both men. Make no mistake about it.
They're both looking for the right hand now.
Yeah. Vasquez was down in round number 9.
Both these guys weary from this pitched battle that we've seen here tonight, yet they are still throwing a high volume of punches.
Yep. We're in the 11th round. Vasquez in white. Licona in the blue and white.
Step back, easy.
For the NABO vacant junior featherweight title.
So this might have to go to the last round to determine the winner.
But I think the fight is very close.
Get out there.
Licona's face looks as though he's been thrown through a windshield at about 60 miles an hour. Both eyes are certainly puffy, swollen. We go back to the corner with Vasquez. Vasquez looks good. By comparison, Vasquez looks very good. But
They're telling Vasquez that's what you have to do. Box him. Over in the other corner, they're telling him, give it your all.
Last
This is the last round. I want you to throw every single thing that you have on you.
First one fighter, then the other. That's the way that last round went. You see the good combination there by Vasquez, but then Licona comes back with the hard punch. I thought Licona landed the harder punches in that round, but Vasquez landed more. So which way do you go?
I don't know.
I went with Vasquez, but I'm not judging officially.
No, it's not going to be easy for the judges, and especially that knockdown in the 9th round really took what appeared to be a routine win for Vasquez and threw it right up in the air. How do my ringside experts see it as they go into this 12th round? Vasquez 105, Licona 103, says Rich Murata. And Fernando Paramore has Vasquez up by 2, 106, 104.
It will not be a robbery either way this one goes.
Very unofficial.
But I tell you, they have both acquitted themselves well. They have both taken the best of what the other guy had to offer.
I guess whoever takes it can't really say, I earned this.
Oh, no question about that. You know, you mentioned the fact that the crowd might have an influence on how the judges vote. Well, take a look at the faces of the two men. Licona's face looks like a mess. Vasquez does not, and I don't know but what that would affect the judges' ruling as well.
I don't think it would affect it much.
Really, to see one guy bleeding and both eyes almost closed? I think human nature being what it is, that you'd say, boy, this guy's really taken a shellacking.
And he has.
Yeah. And he's also knocked the other guy down for the only knockdown in the fight. So how do you figure that out, friends and neighbors, huh? What a corking good fight we got for you here on KCAL Fight Night. Antonio Curtis has come up with it again, hasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to put Vasquez against a guy really with a very good record, against a guy who's shown that he can fight. He told me, wait till you see Licona, he can fight.
Yeah.
And he's right.
You know, Jimmy Montoya used to get criticized a lot, but he has developed a good stable of boxers. And he normally goes into these conditions in which nobody expects him to win.
Well, they're going right to the wire. Hand, boot, and whip. Down the stretch they come. This is something.
Can you believe that they could summon up
In the 12th
resourcefulness to come up with these kind of punches? Look at how many punches these guys are throwing, Tom. It's nonstop.
and still going after each other. This 12th round, both men have got to be just bone weary, dog tired.
This is the championship round.
Oh boy. 20 seconds and ticking down inside of 30.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. This is a real professional prize fight between two guys who got up there and are making an honest buck here this evening.
Ten seconds left in this one. Good left by Licona. He's still pursuing Vasquez and almost gestured as if to say, come on, the fight's over here. But I tell you, no wonder they're hugging each other. What a great show they put on tonight. What a great fight. Wow, and the crowd is up and roaring with applause.
Now that's just terrific. Both these kids may feel they got the victory. Whoever loses is going to be really hurt, Tom, I think, in terms of his emotions. But it was a terrific fight, and what a show.
And we'll be back to see who the judges saw as the winner, Vasquez or Licona. You stay tuned. We'll be back. Fight Night on KCAL is being brought to you by the new Dodge. See your friendly Southern California Dodge dealer today. And by Pepsi One. True cola taste, 1 calorie. Welcome back to Fight Night with the Tropicana Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. We're inside the pavilion where the crowd is still buzzing. Who won it? Is Vasquez the new junior featherweight champ, NABO, or was there a big upset, and did this man whose battered face gives you an indication of what a tough fight it was? Is it Licona? Well,
Tommy, this is one fight that can go either way, really. And I think it's not going to be a robbery no matter who wins in this fight. I had Vasquez by a point, but who knows? That last round went to Licona, I think, and he may have pulled it out with that.
Jake Gutierrez knows who won it. Let's go to the center of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 exciting rounds of boxing here at the Tropicana Resort and Casino, we go to the scorecards for our decision. Judge Al Siciliano scored this bout 114-113 Vasquez. Judge Lou Tabbitt scored the bout 115-112 Licona. And Judge Chuck Giampa scored the bout 115-112 for the winner by majority decision and new NABO Junior Featherweight Champion, Marcos Licona.
But I tell you, they're jumping for joy in Licona's corner. 114-113 Vasquez, 115-112, 115-112 on two of the judges' cards for Marcos Licona, who is now the NABO Junior Featherweight Champion. The one judge had it a point difference, the other had it, two of the judges had it by 3 points. And of course, that 10-8 round in the 9th when Licona knocked his man down was really a tough fight, and it could have gone either way. The judges saw it for Licona. Fernando Paramo was in the ring with the new champion, and we'll go to Fernando. Fernando, if you will, please.
Thank you, Tom. Marcos, I guess a few of yours of people really thought that you had a chance to begin with. Yo creo que tú y poco de tu gente en verdad creían que tenías la oportunidad.
Sí, porque yo estaba programado para pelear con otra persona, pero me ofrecieron esta oportunidad y creo que la supe aprovechar muy bien.
Yes, I was able to take advantage of this opportunity. I was already scheduled to fight somebody else. Tell me what kind of a fight it was. ¿Qué pelea para ti? Te dieron muchísimos golpes. You really took a pounding also.
Estoy acostumbrado a recibir golpes y pues me gusta la batalla. Siempre La gente que me conoce pienso que ya sabe que a mí me gusta la batalla y ir para el frente. Con que mi entrenador siempre me dice hay que boxear, nunca hay que ir, sí hay que ir para adelante, pero hay que boxear, pero yo soy un poco terco, pero en fin, así gané la pelea, creo que para yendo para enfrente, un poco para atrás, pero gané bien la pelea.
He says that he is used to taking a punching. He says that his manager tells him box, move, do something also. Don't just get punched. But he says that he likes to fight like this, likes to go ahead, likes to take a punch, and also is very aggressive. We're going to take a look at the knockdown and tell us what is going on. Vamos a ver la caída, dinos qué está pasando.
Sí, bueno, ahí lo estoy agarrando, lo estaba queriendo agarrar con la derecha.
I was trying to hit him with the right.
Ya lo había visto que bajaba la mano.
Because I had seen that he lowered his left after he threw the jab.
Le pegué en la punta de la
I was able to hit it right in the top of right in the chin. Did you know at that point that the fight where you pensaste que de ese momento adelante ya la pelea era tuya?
Sí, incluso mi entrenador me dijo, pero mi entrenador ahora sí fue que me dijo, ve para adelante, no tienes que ir para atrás, y aquí estamos.
So that his manager was the one that told him, go forward, don't go back. Well, now you're the champ. What are did you come in with this dream of becoming the champ tonight? ¿Creíste que venías a ganar con un sueño de ganar hoy?
La verdad sí, porque ya como acaba de nacer mi hija, eso es para mi hija y para mi hijo.
He says definitely yes. The reason being that his daughter was just born, that is for him, that is for his daughter. Back to ringside.
All right, Fernando, and our congratulations to Licona. Our best wishes to Vasquez. It was a fight worthy of fight night on KCAL. There's the right hand that decked Vasquez and gave Licona the NABO Junior Featherweight title. Still on the agenda, Big Ed Mahone, Steve Pennell. Don't go away.